Hey chums, welcome back to a Game with Chums podcast. I'm your host once again, the immaculate Akira wearing, shirted, cap wearing geezer, Paulie C. And with me is my delightful co-host, the bespeckled, long-haired freak, Mr. Raws. Mr. Raws, how the hell are you doing?
It's always got to get personal, and I must admit, I thought you said cat wearing to begin with. And I was like, "What the heck?"
Well, I do have a cat. He's lying.
Skinned a cat, and you're wearing it.
It's lying. She's lying. She's lying right beside me. She normally jumps on top of my desk. I have a new cat, by the way. Just to a bit of a tangent. Her name is Kiki. She's 1 year old. Yeah, and she's lovely. She's full of like that cat energy. She chases my older cat around, Gigi. So Kiki and Gigi, named after the anime, Ghibli film. Yeah, and she chases him around, and because he's a bit of an older cat now. He's about 10 years, 9 years old, and he takes after me. He doesn't want to be touched or prodded or annoyed. He just wants his own personal space,
spoken to in
any sort of way whatsoever.
Just zero interaction.
Exactly. You know what I'm like, Ross. But yeah, I've got a new cat, so I've had her for about coming up to 2 months now, and she's lovely. Yeah, she might jump up, so she might knock over my camera and stuff. Fingers crossed.
That's fingers crossed for that. Bit of drama, high stakes drama in this podcast.
Exactly. But how the hell are you been, my sidekick?
Yeah, not bad. Just playing some games, going to work as usual, unfortunately, and about it really.
Oh, lovely.
Same old.
Great. It's coming closer to the Christmas period. So are you getting that Christmas vibe? Yeah, Mr. Ross?
Well, I bought my first mince pies this weekend, so
lovely stuff. Yeah.
It's now socially acceptable to eat mince pies as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't seen much advertising for Christmas. Normally the stores are full of they normally start getting the Christmas stuff in October, but I think they've been a bit more restrained recently, so I'm not seeing that much.
Probably because nobody's got any money.
Oh, no one has any money. Not even the stores to put the actual Christmas items in.
We're in a tight spot.
Yeah, my local store is the Lidl's, and so far not much. I know they're getting stuff in because they got the old brochures and stuff like advertising their Christmas foods and stuff, which. Some of it looks pretty good.
Maybe you can tell us what's going to be in the middle of Lidl this week then.
You're asking me a question?
Yeah.
What's going to be in the middle of Lidl?
Yeah. The middle aisle. They always do like weird shit in the middle aisle.
Oh.
It's always in their little booklet things they put out.
Oh, right. Yeah. They'd always do some sort of, yeah.
My dad bought a chainsaw in there one.
Yeah, they got some weird stuff in Lidl's. Because this Lidl's on where I live, as you should know, it's quite a smaller one. It's not a big one. They've got a new big one near Bale Green. People who listen probably don't know where it is. Yeah, but you don't want to go Bale Green though. It's a bit shit. But there's a big one there. But where I live, there's a smaller one. But yeah, they got hardware and random. They got just random crap, household crap, tents, crappy running shoes, torches, which people might think is a good deal. It's a good deal, but the quality's not that great. It's just cheap, just cheap shit.
Very plasticky stuff.
What about the chainsaw your old man got? Was that any good?
He lent it to my brother, and then he kept it. So
it must be good then.
Yeah. I assume it still works. It was a few years ago now, I think. But imagine going to a supermarket and coming out with a chainsaw. It's like halfway to America going to a Walmart and coming out with an AR-15.
Yeah. I mean, where your brother, I won't say where he lives, obviously, but it's a bit of a posh area. So Lidl's is a bit more lowbrow, like they don't really have like Lidl's up where he lives.
Probably a bit more Waitrose.
Definitely Waitrose and Marks and Sparks,
At the very least, a Co-op.
Oh, yeah, definitely. They're not like shitty like you and I, scumbags.
Going to Lidl and Aldi.
Yeah, I can't beat it, man. Anyway,
it's better than Iceland and farm foods.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, farm food. I hate farmers markets. Hate them. Absolutely. I think people go there are pretentious wankers. Apologies if anyone goes to a farmers market in the city, but yeah, just think it's they pay maximum price for quality for items that are not that great. It's like you got money to burn in a cost of living crisis.
Not sure I've ever been to a farmer's market. But anyway, we're massively off topic.
Yeah, yeah,
What
but
what have you been doing?
none of your business.
All
That's what
right,
I've
okay,
fucking been doing.
let's move on to the news
Yeah,
then.
this no. What have I been doing? That's a good question. It was recently Halloween.
It was.
So I watched some Halloween movies. You know how it is. Whatever's on Amazon, Shudder, stuff like that. Watch The Substance. Watch Alien Romulus. Watch what's the other one? It's another one. Oh, don't See No Evil, the new remake with James McAvoy. He plays someone from the West Country, so he's got a West Country accent in that. So
Interesting. He's
yeah,
pretty
it's
good at
interesting.
accents, so to be fair.
Yeah, people don't understand, don't really realize he's Scottish because
Hmm.
obviously he plays like sort of when he plays a Brit, he normally plays an English person and a posh
And he
English
does it so
person.
well.
He does it really well. So probably in America they probably think he's English, but he's Scottish.
Mm,
But he's good. Another good
good
British actor
actor.
who people might think is English is he's a Welsh guy. He's a Welsh actor. He's from Wales, and he is it Michael Sheen?
Michael Sheen, yeah.
Yeah, he's great. He's good, really good at
He's a good
accents.
actor.
He's a good actor all around. Seems like a nice guy. Yeah, but he's
Extremely Welsh.
extremely Welsh, but he can put on some good accents, man. He's plays a broad array of various places from the British Isles. Let's say that, and he seems to seems to have a
Wasn't he
spot on
also in
accent.
those Underworld films, or am I
He
misremembering?
was. He was
In a long
no,
time since I've
no.
seen any of
He was the
those.
werewolf. He was the main werewolf in the first one. Yeah,
In a
just
long
in the
time since I've
cutest.
watched those films.
Yeah, yeah. It just had Kate Beckinsale in a skin tight leather costume, which was always a plus. Yeah, but yeah. So just horror. Yeah, just that really. I'm playing some games here and there when I can. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to talk
So,
about gaming, like obviously as a gaming podcast, but we'll talk about a bit more of that later on. But what have you been up to?
well, as I say, just playing the odd game and going to work. Although you did remind me, I did watch a horror film on Halloween because I used to watch. I haven't watched horror films for years. Like back in the day, I remember like we used to watch. You and me both used to watch loads of horror stuff, loads of like
Oh yeah,
Japanese and Thai and Korean horror and everything, and just all the usual stuff. And I just kind of fell out of it, and I haven't really watched any for years. And I'd heard good things about Hereditary, so I thought, yeah, you know what, it's Halloween. I want to watch a film. I'll watch that. And I liked the first sort of hour and 20 minutes or so of it, and then the last sort of half hour is just completely friggin' demented.
oh
And
brilliant film. It's a great film.
kind of, I feel like I much preferred like before it got like super horror when it was all it was very like the first sort of two-thirds of it probably were like very suspenseful and eerie, and I quite liked that. And then it was just like, yeah, we're just gonna go mad now, and I kind of ruined it for me. But yeah, the last half hour is just completely demented. But I think that's about 6 years old now, and I hadn't got around to it, so I thought I'd watch that. I enjoyed it, but some of the imagery in that is a little bit much. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I did
yeah.
on Halloween. Just watched that.
Did you have any snacks?
No, just a cup of tea.
To,
I don't think I could have kept down snacks in the last half hour of that film.
mm,
Some really messed up shit in that.
did you partake in any fireworks
Nope.
or watch any
People next door
fireworks?
were doing it, so I just, I got
Yeah,
them for free.
yeah. It's always good when you get them for free.
I was
Um,
I was actually recording a video yesterday, which hasn't gone up yet, and
ooh,
partway through, fireworks started going off right outside, so you can just
uh,
faintly hear them on the video, which is slightly annoying.
yeah.
But obviously, I couldn't stick my head out the window and go, "Stop! I'm recording a
So,
video,
how dare you? Do you know who what I'm trying
ruining
to
my content."
I'm trying to create art here.
Do you know who I
Um,
am?
you know who I am. Go to MCM and you'll know. You'll bloody know. Um, yeah. All right, mate. So it sounds like we've been not up to too much, but what's been
Well, it's
happening?
horrible weather now, so it's not like we're going to be going anywhere.
Well, we're planning to do something for. We
Yeah, we
always
always do
do
something around Christmas time.
something around Christmas with a group of chums, a group of friends, the lads, geezers. Do you know what I mean? We get together and we get a bit leery, a bit out of control, slap a few people across the chops,
As you do.
as you do. No, but we plan to do something. Last year it was a pub crawl, a gaming pub crawl, and but this year normally it's meals. We go, we have a nice meal and then have a few drinks. But I think this time we'll probably do a bit of karaoke or something like that.
It's been
We're
a while
planning.
since we've done karaoke, so quite looking
Yeah,
forward to it.
yeah. If we can get the people to come.
Well, they said they were going to come, so I'm going to hold them to
Well, one of them did.
it. True.
Yeah. So, um, but yeah, what's been happening in the world of video games?
PS5 Pro has launched as of, I think, time we're recording this, it's been out for like 3 days,
Yep.
and seems to be doing all right, I guess. I'm going to be honest, I haven't really looked too deeply into it because I'm just not interested. As I think
Okay.
we've both discussed over
Mm-hmm.
the time we've been doing this podcast, neither of us are particularly interested in getting a PS5. So,
Mm-hmm.
a more expensive one isn't likely to sway us, especially
Mm-hmm.
when you need to spend like 800 quid for the whole thing. But it
Mm.
seems to be easily available everywhere. And
That's
the
good.
Sony CEO has said that pre-orders like were tracking slightly ahead of where the PS4 Pro did. So seems to be doing well. Seems to be well stocked if you want to go out and get one. If you've got that kind of money. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, what else has happened? Dragon Age Veilguard came out. I haven't got it yet because I'm coming up towards the end of my replay of Inquisition at the moment, so I'll just grab it when I finish that. Have you purchased it, Paul?
Fuck no. I'm not getting it until it goes down in price. From what
That should probably
I've
happen
always,
fairly quickly.
I've always, we've gone over about this on the podcast. We've talked about it amongst friends. I just don't like the look of it, to be honest. It just didn't sell me. It still hasn't. And the more videos I see of the actual characters, the more it puts me off, and I'm just going to wait for it to go on sale. Um, I'm really so close to Christmas, 60, 70 quid. I rather wait until it goes down, to be honest, and then I'll give it a bash.
It's a lot of
It's
money
not.
to spend on a game you're not sure about.
It's a
Games are just
it's
so
a
expensive now.
it's a shame because I like Bioware. Um, it probably was my favorite developer. But I just don't know. I just don't like the look of it, to be honest with you. It's just sorry, it's just not my cup of tea at the moment. But well, I'll wait
That's
until it
fair,
goes
and
down.
I
I'll
mean
wait
that's
until it
fair
goes
enough.
down.
If it's not grabbing you, it's a lot of money to spend on something that you're not sure about because games are
Yeah,
just very expensive now.
yeah. It's just it looks too. I don't know. I kept getting like Shrek vibes from it and stuff like that. It just didn't really gel with me. So I said that when the reveal trailer happened, gameplay trailer. I like the back. I like the worlds, the backgrounds. They look good, but the, clumping those characters, it just doesn't seem to vibe with me too well at the moment. Um, I know there's been a lot of controversy about it, but I'm ignoring all that, and it just I just want to wait until it comes down. Once it goes down to like it normally goes down to 30 quid, pound. I'll probably purchase it for, or if it comes out in Game Pass, then hey, way quid's in. But there we are.
I mean, it will eventually because it will be in the EA thing, won't it? But I can't
Mm,
remember how long it takes for them to put games into that.
it
I think it's a
probably
year, isn't it?
it'll be a while. Yeah, it'll be a while.
It'll
But
it'll pop up there eventually.
mm,
Uh, but yeah, so that's come out. Ease 10 has come out. For those of you who like the Ease series, I was doing a video series where I played like the first hour of each of the E series. So go and check that out if you've got a chance to.
We'll talk about that in one of our main topics.
Yeah. Um, Something else happened. What else happened?
Death Stranding.
Oh yeah, that that came out of nowhere. So like,
Mm,
what was that? Thursday? So like
Thursday, yeah.
4 days ago, I think, as we're recording this,
Hmm.
just randomly shadow dropped Death Stranding on Xbox out of nowhere.
The director's cut as well.
That was 3 days ago, I believe. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, the director's cut version, which is just basically, I think that's the only version they sell now. Because I actually bought the original, like the standard version on Epic Game Store a few years back when it was on there, when it was on sale, and I just never got around to playing it. Um, so yeah, Death Stranding Director's Cut is now on Xbox, and it's really, really cheap as well.
That's
It's
£16.
well,
16, 17.
it's 34.99 normal price, but it's on like a 50% off launch sale for 2 weeks, so it's
Mm.
17.50 to get that game, which is, I mean, you can't argue with that. I know I bought it, I know you've bought it as well.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
So we're both going to check it out at some point whenever we find the time to play in it,
Mm,
actually play a game. But I've always been interested in it. It seems like a really strange game, but it's just about trying to find the time. But for 17.50, not going to argue with that. I actually
mm.
used some Microsoft rewards, so I go for 12.50.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
but yeah, so that happened. Indiana Jones and the Great Circles had some previews come out that seemed pretty positive. A lot of people kind of likening it to sort of IO Interactive's Hitman games a little bit. Not as deep as those games, but sort of in that kind of area where you're kind of stealthing around and picking things up to whack people over the head with and using like disguises and stuff. I'm quite looking forward to it. I like machine
Mm.
games, Wolfenstein games a lot. I think it's out in December, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
So yeah, that's happened. I think there's a gameplay deep dive coming out uh, tomorrow, in fact, as we're recording this. So it'll probably be out by the time this video goes up. So maybe you've seen it already. And anything else? We're not going to talk about elections because that would be bad. That was certainly a thing that happened.
Yeah, that was surprising and disappointing.
Yeah, we'll not go in depth on that though. Is there anything else that's happened? I think that's maybe about it. Nothing else is jumping out at me.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's all that's happened, unless we're
Oh,
missing something.
one other thing, a new Meta Quest came out as well. Quest 3S.
Oh,
And with
good.
it, a Batman VR game.
All right. And that's the perfect segue to go into one of our topics today, Mr. Rolls.
Here's a bit.
Uh we're going to talk about VR. Not too long, because both I don't think it's too much of a topic we can get our teeth into. Because I don't like. Okay, let's start. You have some VR headsets.
I do.
Which do you have?
I've got a PSVR, the first one, which was the first VR headset I bought when they did the fire sale and they were selling it for like 180 quid or something. And I just thought, yeah, screw it, I'll give it a go. And there was some good stuff on it. I played like Wipeout in VR. Wipeout Omega Collection was amazing and still one of my favorite things in VR. But the PS4 was a little bit too underpowered to really do anything with it, so I didn't really use it very much. Astrobot was amazing, but pretty much those two games are all that I used that headset for. And then in 2019, I got a Oculus Rift S, which I used a fair bit. And then earlier this year, I got a Meta Quest 3 because I wanted to kind of replace my Rift S because you can use it sort of wired and wirelessly to PC and as its own standalone thing. As it's basically got a phone stuck in it. So those I have those three, and gonna be honest, I don't use them much. I have done some videos on the channel with the Rift S. I did the before Psychonauts 2 came out, I played the Psychonauts VR game and did like a playthrough, like a let's play in two parts. Because I thought a lot of people probably haven't played that and it leads directly into Psychonauts 2. So I thought I'd put that out there for people to watch and nobody watched it. Um, I did like half of Half-Life Alex and again nobody watched it. And then I did again about half of oh god, the name of the game escapes me now. It's Ready at Dawn, who recently got closed down. Um, I did half of that, and again, nobody watched it. So making VR videos was a pain in the ass. It took ages to set up, took a while to edit, and nobody was watching them, so I just stopped. But yeah, I did do some VR videos on channel with the Rift S. But the Meta Quest 3 I bought earlier this year, and I've probably used it twice. What about you? You do not have any VR headsets.
No, I don't have any.
Has,
I don't own any. I never wanted any. I never wanted a part of the VR revolution. It just something wasn't. It never really appealed to me. I never thought, yeah, I gotta go and buy that expensive piece of headgear and put on my head and play my games that way. And never like maybe if they if the if publishers and more developers sort of put more sort of effort into making games for the VR headsets, then maybe I would be tempted to buy one just to play like a game that I thought would be really good. But I remember a few years ago there was a big craze for VR. I remember VR was becoming a big thing, and like everyone and their mother was trying to develop their own VR headsets and get ahead of the game. Especially Sony, they were really seemed to be going all in on VR. Then they sort of just gave up and stopped making games for VR. Um, um, so
after
yeah,
selling
then
people a very expensive headset.
a very expensive piece of tech, and then it just sort of just went, yeah, no one really buying it. No, I'm not. We're not going to make any games specific for VR. So that's I mean, like they could obviously like first person shooters are good for VR, and horror games would be good for VR. I think you did play a Exorcist game on using VR, and
I
that
did
scared the
for one of
piss.
our Halloween. Um, we didn't do it this year, but we usually do like Halloween horror games.
Our month of
Um,
horror.
yeah, month of horror.
We
So I
haven't done
did
it for
one.
2 years now.
Yeah. So I did a video of a VR Exorcist game, and I played like maybe half hour of it, and nothing really happened, and it scared the shit out. Because
Yeah.
it's very different when you're in VR. You feel very, I mean, I don't want to use the immersive buzzword, but you feel very kind of present in what you're playing because
Mm-hmm.
you're playing on a TV. You can just like look away if you don't like the look of
Mm.
something on the TV. With a headset on, I mean, all you can really do is close your eyes or tear the thing off your head. So you feel a lot more present in it. And it was literally just like, oh, I think I was in a chapel and lights were going off and there were noises all around me using like positional audio. And I was like, nope, nope, had enough of that. That's
Mm-hmm.
fine. Goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so like, I like horror games, but I won't play horror games in VR because it's just too much. A lot of
Yeah.
people like go on about how great the Resident Evil 7 was in VR, which is exclusive to PSVR 1 still. But yeah, I wouldn't play that in VR.
Yeah. I remember when people thought like the VR revolution was going to be like Sword Art Online, that really
Full dive
immersive.
technology.
Oh yeah, yeah, but obviously that's not really possible, at the moment. Who
Not
knows? It
yet.
probably will be, yeah. But yeah, it never really sort of took off, did it? Really, to be honest. I don't know, like me personally having that clunky piece of headgear on my head, wouldn't your eyes start to strain after a while? Wouldn't it give you headaches? Is that something that you ever experienced playing VR?
To be honest, the thing I've found I get headaches more from is like a pressure headache from because you need to have the headset on and not be too loose, because otherwise, as you're turning your head, it just flops about. So you need to have it fairly tight to your noggin, and that can just cause like because the ones I tend to use have like the Halo style head strap, so you've just got like a band around your head, and if you're tightening that, you've just got like a band of pressure around your head. So that I felt could give me headaches. My eyes, I didn't really get any eye strain from it, which is kind of weird considering because you've got screens like here, right in front of your eyes, and it's probably not great for your eyes. But also the fact that
Mm,
I wear glasses is a bit of an issue as well because a lot of headsets will say, "Oh yeah, this works great with glasses," but everybody has different glasses. I cannot wear these glasses with a VR headset on. I have to put contact lenses in to do it, which is part of the reason I don't really do it very often because, to be honest, I think this is one of the bigger things. I mean, you touched on price, and obviously it is a lot of money. Like the cheapest one you can get at the moment, I think, is the Quest 3S, which is like 300 quid, which is still a lot of money. It's not an impulse purchase. But I think the other kind of hurdle, the main hurdle to getting people to actually play VR is just it's a faff. Like I own three headsets and I barely use them because if I want to play a game, I just want to sit down and grab a controller and then just sit there and play it. With VR, I have to uh, I have to put contact lenses in. I have to put the headset on. I have to grab the controllers. I have to make sure it all connects properly because sometimes the Quest doesn't want to connect to my PC, either wired or wirelessly. And it's just, I was thinking yesterday, I was like, well, actually Friday, I was thinking, you know, I'm going to get my Quest out and do some VR this weekend. And then I was sitting there Saturday night yesterday as we're recording this, and I just thought, I can't be bothered because it's just, it's effort, it's additional effort. And if, you know, that's down to the individual. If that's not a faff to you, if that's not effort to you, then that's fine. You're going to go and play a lot of VR. There's a lot of VR content creators out there that basically do nothing but play VR games. Like that's the only way they play games now. Um, but I just don't have the inclination to do that really.
Bit of a
And
lazy bugger,
again,
aren't you?
yeah, I mean, yeah, to be honest, when I'm thinking about my leisure time, I just can't be asked to do that a lot of the time. And I'm saying that as
Mm.
someone that owns three headsets. So convincing people that don't own any headsets like you to actually buy in and do it is going to be extremely difficult, I think, which is
I
why
know. No,
it's remained such a niche.
no one's actually sold me on the premise of VR yet. No one can really say, yeah, this is life changing. You gotta play. This will be crazy. I'm not really into the immersion thing, to be honest with you. It never really appealed to me, like being surrounded and being inside the world. I'm like, I don't really care. I'd rather just. I know I'm playing a video game. The story normally a good story will suck me in, or gameplay. When you get into it, will just like have you zeroed in and focus. But I've never been that type of guy or person to just go, I need to be inside the game. Like, wow, all around me. No, it's never really like, never really sort of appealed to my sort of sense of gaming and stuff like that. Um, I know a lot of people were wanting to use a VR headset to have like watch porn or something like that. That could be a thing, but I'm glad
People want
that
to
never
use any
became
kind of technology to use porn, whatever.
porn.
There'll probably be porn on the Nintendo Alamo before the year is out.
Yeah, but yeah, yeah. So like VR, what do you think of the future for VR? Do you reckon there is still a future for VR?
I think some people, the real kind of evangelists for it, thought it was going to come in and sweep everything away and be the future of gaming. I don't think that's ever likely to happen. I never have thought it would. I always thought it'd just be like an option, and it seems to be just continuing to be a niche. I think the only ones that are kind of making any kind of reasonable sales in the area is Meta with their headsets, and their Reality Labs division anyway is losing like billions all the time. But I think a lot of that is because they're doing a lot of R&D on new stuff. Um, but they're the only ones that are making any kind of headway. And even then, it's like a niche of a niche. I think it'll just continue to be a niche. I mean, you've got, as you were saying, like a lot of developers and publishers kind of jumped in on in the early days to try and see what they could do with it. But these days, nobody's making an effort. The teams that are making VR games tend to be like teams that make VR games. Like it's not like a big sort of third party or rather a big like AAA studio going, no, let's make a VR game. They tend to like license their IP out to studios that just make VR games. Like the Metro Awakening, I think it is, VR game that's just come out a few days ago. It's a new entry in the Metro series, which a lot of people love, but it's not made by 4A Games. It's made by Vertigo Games, I think, who made like Arizona Sunshine. They're known for making VR games. So the so yeah, all the sort of studios just aren't really doing anything in that space anymore. And it's just being kind of left to the studios that make VR games to make VR games. Obviously, you mentioned Sony. They put the PSVR 2 out, and it was very expensive. I think it was more expensive than the PS5. Uh, and people bought into it, and Sony released a couple of things. Off the top of my head, I can only really remember the Horizon Call of the Mountain game. And to be honest, I don't even know who developed that. I don't even know if that was Gorilla that made that. But yeah, they've basically given up on it after selling people that. It's the one positive thing about the PC VR space is that just anyone can make games for it. So if you buy a PC VR headset, you're always going to find something to play on it because it's more of an open sort of market on PC. But I think that's just generally where it's going to go. It would just be like a niche PC thing, really, or and in terms of like Meta and the Quest, a standalone thing. But yeah, just one thing that annoyed me about Meta is when they were Oculus. Like, let's say I got the Rift S in 2019, and not long after that, like a year maybe 2 years at a push, they just abandoned it, and they were like, "Oh, the Quest is our thing now." And purchases don't carry over. So, like, if you've got Oculus software, you can't play it on your Quest, and if you get Quest software, you can't play it on an old Oculus Rift. And it's like stuff like that is fragmenting it is probably another big issue with the space at the moment because you've got, like I mentioned earlier, stuff that's exclusive to one headset, like Resident Evil 7 VR is only available on PSVR 1. So you can only play Resident Evil 7 in VR if you have a PS4 and a PSVR 1. Resident Evil 8 VR is only on PS5 and PSVR 2. So if you don't have a PS5 and a PSVR 2, you can't play Resident Evil 8 in VR. Resident Evil 4 in VR, not the remake, the original one, but made into a VR game, is only on MetaQuest. So you need a Quest 2 or 3 to play that. And this kind of exclusivity things like that are probably a detriment to the market, to be honest with you, because it's a small market. There's maybe like 5 million headsets out there in total across like everyone, maybe a bit more, and segmenting them off like that is not helping things. Like nobody is going to go and buy one headset to play a game and then another headset to play another game. It's just not going to happen. But yeah, I think it's just going to have to remain a very niche thing for enthusiasts. And I think it's mainly going to live on PC because, like I say, there's always new stuff coming out on PC because it's so open. And if you do have a PC VR headset, you're probably okay, and you're probably going to have stuff to play for years to come. But anywhere else, I don't think it's gonna happen. Like Microsoft kind of suggested they were gonna um, support it when they released, well, when they were leaning up to the One X, I think it was, wasn't it? Which was when was that? 2017, and
I think so.
they never supported it. So obviously I think they watched it and just thought it's not worth our time at this point, and I don't think anything's changed since then. Yeah,
Mm.
it's a pretty there's a I watch a fair amount of VR stuff on YouTube, and there's a pretty sort of vibrant community for VR on YouTube, but it's like you end up watching the same creators over and over again because there's not that many of them. And I think that tells you as much as anything else that it's a very small niche. And I think that's probably how it's going to go.
Mm.
But let me ask you a question.
Hmm.
You've never had any interests in VR. Is there anything
No.
that could get you interested? Like if there was a particular game that came out and it was VR only,
Um,
what could sell you on VR?
um, would say Star Wars, but I know there's been a few Star Wars games VR.
Star
Or
Wars
was it?
Squadrons is actually in VR, and I still haven't tried it.
Uh, maybe Mass Effect. It's got to be us a game that would work in that world. Um, obviously, like it's got to be first person. You can't really play a third person game in VR.
There are
Um,
third-person games in VR, but they kind of work. It's more like the world is like a diorama in a sense that you can kind of move around and sort of look at the world. as you move your
Mm,
character through it. But I think first person stuff is the more compelling stuff.
yeah, maybe maybe a Mass Effect game. Maybe that could have worked. Obviously, playing as a not Shepard, but as a soldier or an alien race in that world would have been good.
Maybe a side game
Um,
where you're a Spectre.
yeah, that could work. That would work in first person as well, because obviously you can use it like um the powers like the biotics and stuff. You can use that, and obviously use firearms in there as well. So that would probably work. That would probably get it me to invest in a VR headset. That that would probably do it. Yeah, like a good Mass Effect game. Get into the world, command your ship, walk around on your like your Normandy esque sort of ship, interacting with other aliens, going to other worlds. Yeah, just playing me as a Spectre. You know, like you uncovering a conspiracy, maybe something not as deep as the Reapers, but something like within within that sort of world would probably work for me. And if there is a game, if they do, someone does hear this and they develop a game in the Mass Effect world in VR, we want some bloody recognition. Mm-hmm.
It does seem like something it would be a bit of a no-brainer. I
Yeah,
think any kind of shooter would work in VR.
yeah, any
Um,
shooter. Mm.
but like I'd really love like a Halo. I don't want to say because a lot of the stuff that comes in VR is like tied to IPs and stuff tend to be like experiences. Like here's a 15-minute thing where you're in step into the boots of Iron Man or something. And it's
Mm.
like no, like I would really like a Halo side game in VR, like a full game, not just like a 20-minute experience thing where you get to look around and go, oh look, I've got Master Chief's Gauntlets on. Um, because I've played Half-Life Alyx and I do think FPS games work really well in VR. And obviously you said about like the immersion thing, but the bigger thing for me is kind of the physicality of it rather than being like feeling not feeling like I'm in the game, but like everything feels like an object that you can pick up. And you've got like your gun in your hand and you have to like eject the magazine and get another magazine with your other hand and slam it and then pull it back and all that kind of stuff, which is like nothing you'd ever really want to do in like a normal game. That would just be like stupid busy work. You just want to press a button and reload your gun. But in VR, having that kind of physicality kind of sells it a bit more. So I
Mm.
think it would be really cool to have like a proper like Halo, a side game, not like a full on like well, the next numbered entry where you get to like have a BR in your hand and like reload it or like the big like M60 pistol or something, and then
Mm.
like throwing grenades with your offhand and stuff like that.
Mm.
Just having that kind of physical kind of version of a Halo game. But unfortunately, Microsoft never bothered to support VR, so I doubt we'll ever get that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I guess that's our little chat on VR, our two different perspectives, me with my three headsets that I don't use,
And
and
me with none.
you never having really been tempted by it.
No. Yeah. Um, but yeah, that's VR talk. Um, it was that went on longer than I thought it was. I didn't think we had much to talk about, but apparently we do. But we're going to talk quickly. Talk. You were talking about making videos using VR and it not getting many views. We would just want to touch upon like our channel at the moment. Obviously, we're primarily a gaming channel, but we do other things on there. We obviously got a podcast, but that's focused on gaming. We do go to events, cons, and stuff like that. But we try and make it relate to gaming, which obviously a lot of them are. Um, but we just want to talk about like how the state of our actual gaming content is going, and at the like you've touched upon it, it's not going too well
No,
at the
it's
moment.
not.
And we don't want to be self-deprecating, but we have to sort of address the sort of elephant in the room. Our gaming content doesn't do we don't do particularly well in terms of views, but when it comes to our actual gaming content, and I'm talking about like both you and I, like we do our separate sort of gaming content, it doesn't do too well in terms
That's an
of viewership.
understatement.
Mm-hmm. Like you said, you did the what series did you do recently?
The
You
Ease
did
series.
Ease series. You did all the games leading up to 10. You and it got the viewership on that was pretty abysmal.
I mean,
No,
some of them are in the single figures.
this is no jab at you because obviously I'm going to talk about me as myself as well. But it's not doing too well. And as a content creator, like and a gaming channel primarily focused on gaming, it's a bit disheartening when you put a lot of work or a lot of time into creating content which then no one appears to watch. And some people will say, well, you should just love what you're doing. But yeah, we do like what, but if no one's watching it, then you're just sort of screaming into the void, really. And like, just like no one's hearing, no one's seeing. It's just, it's kind of disheartening to do sort of videos on gaming, video gameplay, and no one really watching it. And yeah, we've obviously we've talked about doing like meeting up again and doing like gaming content together because I think like individually our gaming content is pretty lackluster, but when we were in the same room together pre lockdown, our videos was seem to be do a little bit better, not a great deal better, but a little bit
I think
better. And
I think it was more fun for us as well because we had each other to bounce off of. When you're just recording a video on a game by yourself, there's like it's going to be stretches of silence where you just don't really have anything to say. So I
dead
think it's
air,
always good to have
dead air.
someone to sort of bounce off of as well.
Um, the dead air thing is a bit annoying because like primarily you would typically you would have to go in there and edit that sort of dead air out, so it's not there's no moments of like 2 minutes of just pure silence. We don't I myself don't do that obviously because we don't do this as a full-time job. We do this as sort of side thing because we
In our
got
free
like
time.
in our free time. I consciously have to push myself to comment on gameplay, and a lot of it can be just waffling and non and just something to feel that the fuck.
Speaking of dead air,
No, I just thought I heard something. It's a bit unnerving because I got my back door open, so hopefully no one's trying to get into my flat.
is your back door open?
Because the cats like to go into the balcony. I'm on a quite a high floor, so I don't think anyone's trying to crawl up there and get in. Hope not. Anyway, um,
Guess we'll find out as this goes
guess
along.
you know, this will be the viral video of me just getting murdered. Um, yeah, and what do you think? Like, we've been doing this for a while now. We've not had that gameplay video where it's really sort of taken off and sort of given us a sort of more of an audience to sort of sort of have. I feel like our most of our recognition does come from our vlogs, primarily LAGC, London Anime and Gaming videos. We do get we have been getting more and more recognized every time we go there. People commenting on saying that they like our videos or they wanted to research about LAGC and they come across our video and they see it and then they decide to come. People saying that they watch our videos to see what other cons are like and they ask our opinion what's off the best con is, which is good. But never ask us about video games. So we're like the con guys, you know what I mean? We're like the con people. We always go to LAG MCM Comic Con, the big one, LAGC London Anime Game Con, Hyper Japan, EGX, you know, anything that's got like manga and gaming, we try to go to. Normally, it's within London. We do try and do videos about gaming, like we did the pub crawl, video game pub crawl. That really didn't get too much views, but it was something different. We also do like we go to like anime theme like restaurants we've done that. We've gone to like we've
We
done
did find another one recently as well, so we should probably do one on that one at some point.
yes, yeah. We also do we go to like anime stores. We did one in Lisbon. We did one. We did a
That
tour
store
of
was really good, that one in Lisbon.
that. I think that's better than anything we've got in London. We've
Mm.
done a tour of the anime stores in Camden, which is surprisingly quite a few in there.
Mm.
So we do that, and I feel like we're more comfortable filming outside in front of loads of people. I remember when we first started, we were a bit like like a bit nervous, but now it's just like easy for us. I don't care who people see us with our phones out. It's just normal now. A lot of people do it.
Yeah.
Um, but when it comes to like, I would primarily like to be thought as a gaming channel. But when people are not watching your gaming videos, not commenting on it or anything, it kind of makes you feel like we're not really. Are we a gaming channel, or are we more of a sort of a day in a life vlog sort of channel? And like
Oh,
even our podcasts, they do they do well. They do pretty well. I got the analytics
it,
from like
yeah.
our audio versions, which do better.
Mm.
Um, we
Suppose
do
people
get
want it on in the background, don't they, with our
yeah.
dulcet tones?
So it's what like I think we've sort of talked about like will we transition into full time, like not full time, but primarily like a sort of like a con channel or like day in a life channel. Like people focus are like they focus their content on like going to festivals and stuff like that, and they get their reactions. Will we be more doing more cons in the future and less gameplay videos? Because at the end of the day, why make videos like or let's plays or anything like that about video games when you get like something like 10 views? You know what I mean? It's kind of like no one's watching, and why do that? Why we can get like I don't know, say 400, 500 on sort of vlogs, 1,000 on LAGC or stuff like that. Like our best one on LAGC is like 10,000. We got another one approaching 9,000, which is low views, but people are still watching it.
Well, it's
Like
low
always
views for YouTube, but for us, it's like
for us,
that's
it's quite
huge.
quite big. Our biggest like video is like nearly 70,000, which is a distance world video. You know, so it's kind of like, are we? Do we still see ourselves as a gaming channel? Because we've been doing this since my first video came up in 2017, and I think we have had big sort of gaming videos. Like I know when you used to do videos for the One X, some of them like you those sort of like quick ones where you were like showing like a game running on the One X, they did pretty well. But when it
I
comes to
still
like
don't understand that. Some of those
yeah,
were huge. I don't know why people. I think the recall one was like the biggest one, wasn't it?
one of them, yeah. If you go to your analytics, you can find like which one is the best one.
Mm.
And it's yeah, I think it is like Recall or maybe a Final Fantasy video or something like that. So it's I know I don't want to be too sort of down, but it is kind of like what are we gonna still continue making videos about gaming, or what, or do we see ourselves sort of doing something focusing more on the like vlogs and experiences and events and like niche stuff, things like that when we find around London or 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 the UK, or there's always talks of us going abroad as well, maybe going to Gamescom or something like that, doing something over there. Like that would be like good for like a first time experience and also a bit of a holiday as well.
Mm.
So like what would you think? Because we did one in Brighton, that anime
Animanga
pop,
pop.
yeah, and obviously that was kind of not great, but it was something different. It was like one of the probably the low key sort of indie sort of cons we've ever been to, in a Holiday Inn on the coast of the Brighton. and we
It
were
was
there for
bad.
like
It
it
was
was
bad.
bad.
Let's just say it's
Yeah,
bad. But I
maybe
mean, I
hopefully
think it was the
it'll
first
grow.
one.
Yeah,
It's got to start somewhere. So,
yeah. Well, what do you
then
what?
the one in Tottenham was just almost as bad. So I mean, you know, it's good these things are popping up, and hopefully they'll grow. But we have talked about wanting to do more events around the country.
I disagree with you about the one in Tottenham being as bad. It was bigger than that thing in Brighton.
It was bigger, but it
Yeah, they
wasn't
had a
great.
lot more there. It wasn't great, but and they're not coming back next year into London, so that
We
tells you
killed
something.
them.
Yeah, yeah. And that's got pretty decent views as well. We're shitting on it.
It's because it was bad.
It's just
It
because he didn't
wasn't
have any
good.
beer.
No, it
If he had
wasn't
beer
that. It
there.
was no, it wasn't just that. It just wasn't good. There was just nothing. There was no atmosphere. There was nothing going on. It just
We
wasn't great.
were we were meant to be the atmosphere, man, and we just didn't bring it.
Didn't bring it with
No,
us.
no, yeah, it was in our back pockets. We just didn't use it. But yeah, carry on, man. Sorry, I cut you off there.
But yeah, I mean, obviously there's a sort of finite amount of things we can go to. There isn't like an event every week, so we can't really just transition full time to just doing like vlog stuff because otherwise, I mean, you say
Sorry.
like day in a life stuff, no one's gonna
Yeah,
watch me getting up and like having my cereal and then going to work.
yeah. Sorry, I gotta say you also got the unboxing stuff as well, which does pretty well. Your unboxing stuff does pretty decent as well. Like you've got quite a fair sort of portfolio of videos of you unboxing
Done a few.
or pickups and stuff like that.
Yeah, so we're recording this on the 10th of November, the Sunday. I actually did a pickups video yesterday, filmed it and edited it this morning, so that'll probably be up by the time this video goes up anyway.
Mm.
But again, that's kind of reliant on things coming out. I don't really want to just do like one unboxing things because I just don't find them particularly interesting. And I don't really have a decent setup to do it here because I'm doing it on my phone. I have to hold my phone in one hand and then like try and unbox stuff with the other hand, which is why if you watch the last one, you'll see I just kind of like cut to everything laid out on the table and saying, here's what you
I
get in the
think
box.
I think that's a better way of doing it. To be honest, I like that
Yeah.
way you did it. You did
And
the voiceover of it. Yeah.
that's what I've done with this one as well. So that'll be up by the time this goes up, it'll be up. I'm gonna probably upload it later today. But yeah, stuff like that. Again, it's dependent on like when stuff comes out. The ones I've done so far, it just kind of happened that I pre-ordered a load of shit and it all just came at the same time. And I think I did one like that last October, and then one sort of in like May, I think, this year, and then again this October for this October. But it's not something you can rely on. You can't just expect like a load of cool stuff to just come out at the same time. Um, but yeah, same with the events. We've been talking about going to more events around the country and maybe going to a um couple of ones abroad. There's the one in France as well, Paris Games Week. I'd really like to go to.
Mm.
And we've talked about like kind of the holy grail is AX in the US, I think, but that would be a very expensive one. But yeah, I mean, we can't just do that stuff because those things just don't come around that often. Like as it is, we go to LAGC twice a year, we go to MCM twice a year. We used to go to Hyper Japan twice a year, and we kind of haven't in the last year. Well, we haven't this year because the last time we went to it was just really bad. So that's another thing like scraped off that we now can't do a video on. But we try and do videos for stuff whenever we can. Like we went to Japan Matsuri in Trafalgar Square. We did a video on that. It's like Paul said, the ramen restaurant we went to had all the anime murals all over the walls. So we try and like fill the year out with stuff like that. But it's never going to be to the point where we can do something like that every week.
Mm.
But
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
kind
but
of what the podcast was, I think, to begin with. Kind of like let's get kind of some regular sort of non-gameplay kind of content up on the channel, and I think that the podcast's doing well. That was entirely your idea, and I think it was a good one. I think it's been a
thank you,
success.
thank you, sir. Um, um, yeah, but like, I get what you're saying, but I don't want to do videos just for the sake of doing videos. Or the if no one's watching, or the quality over quantity over quality sort of thing. I like doing gameplay videos. I do find it so like, especially on your own. I found it easier when we were doing Let's Co-ops. Obviously, we can bounce off each other a bit more.
Yeah,
But
we kind of fell out of doing that. We should get back to it.
yeah. But we will be doing videos um together in the same room by the end of November. So that should be something better. I listened back to watch some of the old videos when we first started, when it was Dan, yourself, and no, Dan, you and I, and I thought they were pretty good. It was a lot more
More
sort of banter
dynamic.
and dynamic. One person didn't have to carry the video and stuff like that. I thought it was good. I thought that worked out well. And obviously, we sort of dropped the moniker of drinking and like insults and stuff at each other. Because who could the older you get, you can't really drink all the time. I don't really drink when I make videos, so that's
Well, this is
cool.
the thing. We used to record stuff in massive batches, so we just used to
Mm,
get together on a Saturday and just like get a couple of crates of beer, and then just get progressively more drunk as we were doing like 10 or 11 videos a day, and then just
that
like stick them up a couple a week.
that will be happening in the when we meet up again. You will see that old dynamic. Trying to recapture the old days. Mm, but yeah, it's a tough one because so many people do gaming videos now, and I think now it's sort of settled into. It's very hard to break into that sort of ecosystem, that sort of sphere of gaming YouTubers, because people like it's been around for a while now, and they found their audience, and it's very hard for new people. I say new, we've been around for a long time, but new sort of like creators to come in and find their audience, and we've sort of found a sort of bit of an audience with our videos outside of gameplay videos. We don't really have like a sort of strong core audience at all for gameplay videos. They seem to be more interested in watching us fuck around than go to different places or our
And get
opinions
progressively
on,
more drunk.
yeah, or like find new places and go to cons and wander around, and it's just our cynical sort of outlook and commentary on cons and stuff seems to resonate better with some people. um but it's a shame. I would like to continue. I will continue doing them sort of gameplay videos, but I just don't want it to do for the sake of doing it if no one's going to watch. You got to sort of, well, ideally, what would be best is sort of a new game gets dropped, you sort of get on it straight away, so you could sort of capitalize on the fact that it's a new game's been dropped. People want to watch it. Maybe I should have done that for Dragon Age: The Veilguard, because that seems to be the hot topic at the moment. But obviously, like I said earlier, I kind of wanted it to wait till it went down in price. But you got like a lot, like people get like preview codes, stuff like that sent out to them, so they get their gameplay. Like I
That
would,
sure would be nice.
that would be nice. And if anyone wants to, please, we'll give you a favorable review if your games are good. Um, but
We
you,
can
like,
promise our video will get at least 15 like
exact.
views.
That's the thing. Like when to like sponsorships and stuff like that, you got to have like a decent audience. Otherwise, why would the sponsors give you like a sponsorship? Because then they'll be like, well, you're showing you're broadcasting to no one really.
Hmm.
Like obviously, like when I've applied for some, and I always show them my good videos, like where it's got like 5,000 to like 10, and that's low as well for like sponsors. That's like, oh fuck off, what the fuck we want to do that? But you kind of like if you wanted to not say make a career of it, you got to sort of have an audience, don't you? Really, and in an ideal world, both you and I would like to sort of do this full time. If you could make money from
Yeah,
it,
I'd
why
much
not?
rather do
Yeah,
this than the job I have to do.
yeah, and this is not why we got into it. If we is, we would have given up ages ago. If you
Mm.
know, like making content, we still do it for the love of it and and the experience, and because we just both like doing it. I wouldn't stop it for anything at the moment unless something really bad happened, like I don't know, got my blowing up in a bizarre gardening incident like in Spinal Tap. I don't know.
Or if someone
Uh,
like climbed in through your window and murdered you on while you're on a podcast, something
yeah,
like
I mean
that.
that would get. I mean, you benefit from that. Like you can carry on the torch of the game with chums, find a new chum. um, but yeah, like obviously we started off as a 3 piece, down to a 2 piece now. Um, I think we'll carry on doing what we do, but it has to be sort of. I don't know if it's like people probably like you said before, like you would hope like when people watch our vlogs of cons that people would be inclined, maybe be curious to watch our gameplay videos. That hasn't really happened. They're just more probably inclined to watch just our con videos. So we got like a playlist of all our outdoor excursions and unboxings and other such stuff, and that's done. That gets quite a few people watching it, but outside of that, not really. People are like, oh, they do video games as well. I fucking don't care. I'd
Hmm.
rather just watch these guys just
Well, I
walk
don't want to
around and
watch someone play a video game.
yeah. That's why I stream more because I feel like that's probably a bit different. Like obviously we do exploring Game Pass series, which I think is a good idea. Quick looks. We don't really do full let's plays, more like just one-off shots sort of things. It's like do we do like the open prologue? We just try and find something that's you've played demos. It's just something that we're trying to find that works. And at the moment, it seems like it's not gameplay videos; it's like cons. We really, like you said, there's not enough in there to sustain us for for a long time. It'd be very difficult, and we probably would have to like give up half jobs and go around the world just doing fucking cons and stuff.
Hey, if one of us
Mm,
wins the lottery, then that is the plan.
yeah, you
We
are.
just travel around the world and just make vlogs all the time.
Yeah,
That'd be
that would be.
great. I've got to win the lottery to do that, unfortunately.
Yeah, we actually do have we have a video of like where we went to Japan. We did that. That was
Yeah,
in the
which I
back
think went
burner.
up like 3 years after we went, didn't
Went,
it?
yeah, yeah.
Because we just never got around to doing it.
Never got around to editing it, and then one day I was just like, yeah, well, I'll do it. Never really took off, but um, it's a bit of like I don't want to end the podcast with this sort of like defeatist sort of attitude,
Hmm.
but it has to sort of like be talked about a bit and see where we can go with it. If anyone's got anything they would suggest, and not cons all the time, as much as we love cons, we do. I really do like going to cons and stuff to get.
It's one of my favorite things that we do, going to cons and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
it's really fun. Like I know, like some people don't. Well, particularly some friends of ours probably would just like, oh, we just want to go to a restaurant. Why do you have to film it? I know that probably been thought of.
The algorithm.
Mm-hmm. So they just want to eat their meals or just drink their beers in peace without having a camera shoved in their face. But that's just who we are. We've got that sort of YouTube. Hopefully they don't think, oh, they just bring us along so we can shoot a video. No, no, we don't do that. We can just do this ourselves. We wouldn't want you, we don't have to invite you. We want you there because you're our friends, but we just kind of do this as well. So
But yeah, it's more of
yeah.
an afterthought. It's like, oh, it's kind of an idea. We
Mm,
could get a video out of this, I guess. It's not
mm-hmm.
like the primary thing. The primary thing is just hanging out with friends, and then it's like, oh, this could make a good video, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, I got some ideas in the pipeline. I mean, I did like that quiz we did. Remember that Final
That
Fantasy
is
one?
that is one thing I'd really like to do more. Well, I say more often. We've only done it once, but
Once.
I'd really like to make that a thing. But I feel like we'd need to do that in person, and I'd like it to be way less janky. And again, I would love to like if I won the lottery, I would actually go out and like rent a space and build a set so we could do like a full on proper quiz. That is like a dream of mine to do that. But short of winning the lottery, I would like to just find a way to do it in a less janky way than we did before, and it'd have to be in person, and we'd have to just find a space to do it.
Yeah.
But I'd like to
But
do that more often because I think that could be something we could do like once a month. That could be fun.
fun. Anyway, I think we're gonna leave it there. Obviously we're not stopping making gameplay videos, but it's something that I thought we should just have a quick discussion about. We will still be doing whenever we can go into cons and stuff. If we find anything interesting to go and visit, maybe like the history, like go to the museum. You know, I think like some places do like the history of video games. That might be interesting to go put a video in.
They
I know
also do
there's.
discourage videoing though.
Do they do?
A
Oh,
lot of
bollocks then.
places. So
All right.
yeah,
Well,
museums generally, they're okay with you taking a few pictures, but I
filming.
don't know. It's something we could look into anyway. See what the
Mm.
restrictions are and see what we can do around it. It's a
I
good
did.
idea.
Yeah, like I know like Ghibli like does like they do like yeah, actually you might be right about that because I do know some YouTubers go to these things, but then they get told unfortunately we're not allowed to film in there. So I know the Joey the anime man did one where he went to Attack on Titan sort of museum like a not a museum but sort of like a showcase or something and he wasn't allowed to film in there.
Mm.
Mm. We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, I think we're going to leave it there. So, anything else you need to say? Anything else you would like to say?
No, just
Uh,
please go and watch my Ease series videos because they're very
yeah,
low views. I've, I'm gonna at some point when I find the time because again we do this around like, our working and personal lives and everything. Now that Ease 10 is out, I'm gonna go and do a video for that one as well. I'm gonna keep doing gaming videos just because I enjoy doing it. I'm not super fussed about the fact that I was watching them, but it is a little bit. You do wish people were, watching these stuff and commenting and stuff like that. You say at the end of the video, like and subscribe and leave a comment down below, and nobody ever does. So it's a little bit. It can get a little bit. It can weigh on you a bit, but yeah, go and check it out.
yeah, go check it out. Anyway, guys, I think we're going to leave it there. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This video, the audio version will be available on all good streaming platforms, apart from Apple Music. They can go and suck a lemon. Boo. But yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.